roundtable discussion with representatives of U.S. business. I want to begin by congratulating the American people for the manifestation that you've all been involved in the past few days of electing a new leadership. The United States is a long-standing and valued partner of South Africa, and we look forward to further strengthening our ties of friendship and cooperation with the incoming administration. This Business and Investment Roundtable is taking place at an important time as we are all dealing with COVID-19. Together with countries around the world, both the United States and South Africa have begun the arduous task of rebuilding our economies while working to overcome the coronavirus pandemic. Just as cooperation and solidarity have enabled us to respond to the pandemic, so too is partnership and collaboration vital to the recovery effort that we are all getting involved in. It is now more important than ever for South Africa and the US to deepen our strategic partnership conducted through a number of political and economic forums. The United States is South Africa's third largest trading partner. On a continental level, last year we were the largest source of African imports to the US, followed by Nigeria, Egypt, and Algeria. South Africa is a leading recipient in Africa and is the largest African investor in the US. There are over 600 US companies in South Africa, as you know, many of which have had a presence in our market for decades. They have been our partners and have been supporters of our country over many, many years. These investments remain key to our economic growth and continue to support thousands of jobs, both here in South Africa as well as in the US. It is this firm foundation that we want to build upon. This is what we want to strengthen as we prepare to host the third South Africa Investment Conference in a week's time. I have no doubt that, as in previous years, there will be a strong showing by US companies and investors at our South Africa Investment Conference. Since our first investment conference in 2018, we've been working steadily and steadfastly to create an enabling environment for both foreign and local companies to thrive in our market. We're focusing on key reforms in the energy, telecommunications, and logistics industries to improve the competitiveness of our economy. We continue to work with industry stakeholders to fast-track measures to reduce the cost of doing business and lowering barriers to entry. Last month, we launched an economic reconstruction and recovery plan to restart our economy after the devastating impact of the pandemic on growth and employment. The plan itself identifies 4 priority intervention areas. The first one is a massive infrastructure build program. Second one is to significantly expand energy generation capacity. And thirdly, to have and launch an employment stimulus through social and public projects. And fourthly, to accelerate industrialization through local production. Even though it has been just a few weeks since the plan was launched, we have long begun work to deliver on the commitments that are set out in the plan. As we say in the plan, there is a ruthless focus on implementation. Infrastructure has immense potential to stimulate investment and growth in our country. It also has the immense potential to develop other economic sectors and create sustainable employment both directly and indirectly. To this end, we have developed a robust pipeline of projects around the country with an investment value of 2.3 trillion rand, or around $150 billion. That will transform the landscape of our cities, our towns, as well as the rural areas of our country. The prospects for sustained growth depend to a large extent on our ability to give all South Africans a meaningful stake in the economy of our country. Measures such as broad-based black economic empowerment are vital not only to correct the injustices of our past and overcome the inequalities of the present, but also to ensure that our economy is able to realize its full potential, with all our people participating meaningfully in the economy of their country as creators of wealth. We welcome the support that we have received from many US firms that operate in South Africa in advancing empowerment and understanding the need for this empowerment process, including through their use of innovative and transformative equity equivalent schemes. There are many new opportunities for US companies to participate in our economy as we seek to increase investment in our productive capacity. I want to mention here the recently concluded deal between one of our own pharmaceutical companies, Aspen Pharmacare, and two subsidiaries of Johnson & Johnson to manufacture COVID-19 candidate vaccine here in South Africa. This is yet another demonstration of partnership between South Africa and American business, making use of our world-class manufacturing capacity to answer a pressing global health need. Growing domestic manufacturing is a key component of our recovery plan. Much work is underway in South Africa. We have, for example, already finalized master plans in the automotive, in the clothing and textile and poultry and sugar industries. Now, these plans, in which the respective industry participants agree on practical measures to develop the sector, are fast becoming platforms to attract investment and to generate growth. Off the back of the two auto master plans, for example, we have received 60 billion rand, or around $4 billion, in investment pledges from vehicle and component manufacturers. We're working with the respective industries to finalize master plans for the digital economy, the forestry, aerospace and defense, renewable energy, and a host of other important industries. These all present opportunities for enhancing trade and investment. As we drive the implementation of our respective economic recovery plans, such interactions between government and business are very vital. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which will come into operation in January, will have a massive impact on African economies, particularly on trade and investment. A World Bank report from June this year estimates that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area could contribute to an increase in real income gains for the continent of something in the range of 7%, or nearly $450 billion by 2035. With its relatively developed industrial base and the measures underway to expand manufacturing capacity, South Africa is well positioned to benefit from the opportunities that the Continental Free Trade Area will provide. At the same time, Africa's export sectors will need more international trade agreements to access market opportunities and global value chains. We must strengthen collaboration on skills transfer, on training, and on information sharing. We must reduce impediments to trade, both tariff and non-tariff. Greater investment and trade between our two countries is key to our collective growth and prosperity. I'd like to see us continue to work together to strengthen the trade environment and investment climate in our respective countries. In the wake of COVID-19, this assumes added and very urgent attention. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. I'd like to thank you again for this opportunity and look forward to our discussions during the course of this 1 hour. I thank you. What's happening now?
Senior Advisor for Africa at Covington and Burling, where I also chair the Africa practice. Covington and Burling is a law firm, 101 years old in Washington, D.C. And we have an office, an Africa-facing office in Johannesburg, where we are 10 years old. And it's a reflection of our deep commitment to the continent. So it's my honor to be the moderator of today's conversation. And just before we get to the questions, I just want to note that since you launched your investment effort, very bold initiative for $150 billion of investment 3 years ago, that in fact, U.S. foreign direct investment in South Africa has grown about 8% to about $8 billion. And I think that's an accurate reflection of the response to your effort, not only to attract more investment, but to get your government to be good partners for American companies. So before we get into the questions, I was just struck by that one example that you gave us, Mr. President, about Aspen Pharma and Johnson & Johnson. I just wanted to ask if you could give us one more example of what you see as a model U.S. investment in South Africa as it relates to cooperation between business executives and government, job creation, environmental standards, and all the relevant, and technology transfer, the priorities that you have enunciated. If I could just get your thought, just in response to that, and then we'll get into the questions.
Thank you very much for that question. There are so many numerous examples of how U.S. companies have jumped to the occasion and have done even much more than what we had expected. And I cite Aspen Pharmacare together with Johnson & Johnson, but there have been many more. The acquisition by PepsiCo of Pioneer Foods is a great example where there was real good collaboration. The participation, continued participation of AB InBev with my very good friend Carlos Brito is another one. Coca-Cola has been in this market for a very long time. And recently, we've had the real pleasure of having Amazon Web Services making a huge investment in South Africa on technology and information technology. That's transfer of technology, transfer of knowledge, and all these companies that I've cited have brought investments into South Africa, massive investments, which we welcome. They've also brought technology. They've brought the creation of jobs and preservation of jobs. And for this, we really applaud them. But they've also sharpened our own wits in as far as continuing to urge us to create a climate that is conducive for business to operate. Much of the reforms that we are embarking upon now have also to a large extent been inspired by those businesses, but also by our collaborators.